Venezuelan people get ready to go to the polls again on Sunday for the second popular consultation to defend the projects of local interest and benefits the communities. Education workers in Argentina went on a 48-hour strike on Tuesday to demand a salary increase from the government of Javier Milei and to reject harmful judgment for the sector. And the Palestinian resistance movement Hamas denounced that the objectives of Israel and the United States is to continue the genocide against the civilian Gazan population. Hello, welcome to From the South. Amara Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll be with the news. Stay with us. Venezuelan people are getting ready to go to the polls again on Sunday in the second popular consultation to define projects of local interest and benefit the communities. In this regard, citizens will participate in elections to select the communal projects that will have priority for their execution in the communities of the country as an exercise to strengthen the participatory democracy. The elections will allow the more than 49,000 communal councils of the country to choose the local development plans to benefit the communities who are working to improve self-management and social control. In an exclusive interview for teleSUR, Minister of Communes and Social Movements of Venezuela, Ángel Prado, noted that the popular consultation on August 25th will serve the communal councils to address a social project to provide solutions to the Venezuelan people.
Un circuito comunal está integrado por varios consejos comunales.
A communal circuit is integrated by several communal councils. In this case, each communal council raises 3 projects. In its first instance, that is, the communal council then goes to the Great Assembly of the circuit, each one with its 3 projects. And there you define between 6 and 7 projects that will be submitted to vote, in this case next August 25. There the people will vote for the project they are interested in resolving first, but there is a second, third project that even has the possibility of having a transfer of resources to financing if it is not through the presidency of the Republic. It can be a mayor's office, a governor's office, or a ministry.
In this regard, the Venezuelan Minister Ángel Prado assured that since the government of President Hugo Chavez, the country initiated a participative and inclusive policy.
This sets off by that hopeful time in 1998, a little earlier with Commander Hugo Chavez, and by 1999, a constituent assembly was proposed, and we approved a new constitution, where we left behind the representative politics to initiate a participative politics of inclusion of the people, where the people can be involved in administering domestic resources, and the people can be part of the planning. Before, there were only neighborhood associations that were obsolete organizations where only one person, having little contact with some authority of the ruling political party, would send information. However, nothing happened at all. There was no transfer of resources of competence. Neither the management of the regional government existed, nor popular organization was allowed.
The Venezuelan Minister of Communes also points out that the popular organization through the communes allows the people to govern the elected authorities as a whole.
The communal councils are born in the communal councils as legal figures that even have a legal account in a bank. They have an executive structure of government. They have a work committee. They have a territorial scope. That have a name. That has a charter, that has a development plan, and that the Citizens' Assembly is the highest decision-making body that exercises a social control and that has a project and transfer of resources we advanced in this country with the housing mission. Well, thanks to the birth of the communal councils, those small cells of self-government in 49,000 spaces of the national territory, that was a boom. It was a real joy in our people from that moment of the government. They know how to administer. They know how to manage. They organize themselves. They execute courses. And well, we say there at the base we learn to be political.
Venezuela's Vice President for Communications, Culture and Tourism, Freddy Ñañez, denounced that transnational corporations have progressively usurped the role of traditional media.
I believe that what is happening, not only in Venezuela, but also in the world, shows the true dimension of these corporations. They are transnational corporations, which have usurped not only the role of the traditional media, but are also progressively usurping the role of the state, the role of the institutions. This somehow threatens democracy as we know it. It makes it unviable, it makes it difficult to develop as a political space, as a social space, as an institutional space, and also as a type of collective culture, since social networks have reached, as a communication technology, where no other technology has ever reached before.
Venezuela's Vice President for Communication, Culture and Tourism also considered it necessary to build in the country a space for the thought that takes into account new technologies.
Venezuela has reached the moment to legislate on this matter, and also to assume the challenge, to assume the problem with absolute responsibility, so that in the academic field, as well as in the legal field, as well as in the cultural field and in the political field, we need to build a space for thought that weighs up these technologies, that truly allows citizens to find out what this digital world and this world of algorithms is all about, so that we, as conscious citizens, can have the tools to debate.
Let's take a very short break, but remember you can now join us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. Argentinian education workers went on a 3-hour strike on Tuesday to demand a salary increase from the government of Javier Milei and to reject harmful judgments for the sector. The strike comes after the workers have denounced the lack of response to their demands by the Milei's government, a situation that has deteriorated due to the administration policies against the sector. Demonstrators' demands include, among others, the reinstitutions of the teachers' incentive on the elimination of income tax and the updating of pensions. The workers expressed their determination to continue with their actions until their demands are finally met and announce another rally in defense of the public university in September. And now we're moving on. The Brazilian government has mobilized more than 1,400 brigades in recent days to fight fires in the Amazon rainforest, which started earlier than expected due to the drought. Authorities reported that at least 1,498 brigadistas are working to fight the flames that are raging in the Amazon region. Likewise, the highlights data of the 173 fires registered in the northern region of the country since last July. 98 were extinguished or have been controlled. The level of drowning in the Amazon basin is the most serious in the last 2 decades. The National Water Agency decreed a critical situation of water scarcity in the Madeira and Purus River. At least 131 people have been killed in Nigeria in recent weeks following floods caused by heavy rains in several countries in the African region. According to authorities, today almost 32,000 homes have been affected, leaving more than 132,000 people homeless. During this Monday, the increase in the water levels caused the closure of the roads leading to the capital city of Niamey. Therefore, the rescue teams deployed its personnel to attend to the emergency. In view of the situation, officials urged the population to maintain the corresponding safety measures. On Monday, the deputy of the ruling party of Paraguay, Eulalio Lalo Gomez, was killed in his home by members of the police forces during a raid. The police operation was part of a series of raids carried out in the city of San Pedro Caballero. One took place in the home of the congressman of the Colorado Party and another in the house of his son, Alexander Rodrigo Gomez. In this regard, preliminary information revealed that both had offered resistance, which provoked an exchange of fire with the authorities that resulted in serious wounds to the lawmaker, who passed on the way to the hospital.
Police officers mounted a raid to inspect and seize evidence related to the punishable offense of money laundering, association to commit a crime, etc. While they were on the raid, a confrontation arose, which led to a fatality.
In the aftermath, Oscar Tuma, lawyer for the Gomez family, denounced alleged irregularities in the police procedure.
For us, there was no need to carry out that search at 3 in the morning. Even though the law foresees that possibility, it foresees it in case of urgency. It is foreseen in case the person is with the intention of escaping, or if a burning of files is happening, or if there is an attempt to destroy the elements contemplated in the search warrant. They could have waited quietly until 6 in the morning and carry out the procedure in a normal way, and not enter hooded, breaking doors, to generate, or due to that it ended up generating, the outcome that we all know.
In addition, the director of legal medicine of the prosecutor's office, Pablo Lemir, describes the cause of the death of legislator Eulalio Gomez.
Both wounds are caused by high-velocity ammunition, and specifically the wound on the left side causes total destruction of the heart, a cardiac arrest, as well as lung and liver injuries.
Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to join us on our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch an interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and more. Hit the subscribe button and active the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. More financial break, don't go away. Welcome back. The Palestinian resistance movement Hamas denounced that the objective of Israel and the United States is to continue the genocide against the civilian population of the Gaza Strip. The head official of the Palestinian movement, Osama Haddam, said that he agreed with the proposal presented by the U.S. President Joe Biden, but assured that they didn't manage to convince the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He also warned that Israelis have left aside the important issue of the Washington Plan and are not willing to accept it. On the other hand, Hamdan emphasized that any agreement must include 5 basic issues, starting with the end of the aggression, the withdrawal of Israeli forces, and the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip. The Commission for Prisoners and Ex-Prisoners Affairs and the Palestinian Prisoners Club denounced that the Israeli regime continues to use systematic tortures and humiliation against Palestinian detainees. The organizations explained that what is happening in the Israeli prisons offered against the detainees are systematic crimes, the level of which is unprecedented since the beginning of the Israeli genocide against Palestine. The Commission and the Club based their statements on testimonies from Palestinians detainees detailing that Israeli authorities deny them access to food or medical care, as well as torture and sexual assault against them. In this context, Palestinians protest in the occupied West Bank city of Jenin in solidarity with Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails, demanding updates of them and an improvement in their conditions. Demonstrators chanted slogans and held pictures of the prisoners at the rally.
We heard from the released prisoners that they, Israeli prison authorities, put my father in the prison bus and assaulted him. They beat him and took him to Ramla Hospital. We found out yesterday through the complaints. We hadn't received any news of him for a week. We don't know how serious his condition is.
Today, we are protesting in solidarity with the prisoners. We are demanding their release, demanding to see them, and asking for visits and for the improvement of their conditions. The prisoners are in poor conditions, both mentally and physically.
On Tuesday, the Israeli occupation army committed a new war crime by bombing a school that served as shelter for displaced people in the Gaza Strip. In this regard, civil defense spokesman Mohammed Basal reported that at least 10 people were killed, including 2 children, in the strike that targeted Mustafa Hassam School in the West Gaza City. Basal added that they are still recovering bodies from the schools whose building collapsed after being directly hit by the bomb.
The occupation has targeted a new school, the Mustafa Hafez School in the west of Gaza City. This is the 8th school that has been targeted in about a month, and unfortunately around 10 people were martyred in this strike. Unfortunately, there were displaced families in the school. It was a refuge for about 700 displaced people who had fled after their homes were targeted.
The Ukrainian government accused its allies of not supporting the country's sufficiently aimed at rising tensions after the attack on the border region of Kursk. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged his allies to accept his request for the delivery of long-range weapons to Kiev. Zelensky assured that if the Western countries lift restrictions on the use of armaments against Russian territory, they could use their entire arsenal to attack Moscow. In recent statements, the President of Ukraine criticized the UK for denying him the use of British armaments against Russian provinces. Kenyan police launched a major manhunt on Tuesday after a man who confessed to murdering and dismembering 42 women escaped from a Nairobi police cell, along with 12 other detainees. In this regard, the authorities report that Collins Jumaisi, who was described by the police as a vampire and a psychopath, escaped after being arrested last month following the discovery of mutilated corpses at a garbage dump in the slum area of the Kenyan capital. In the meantime, Brasilia Ondiago, spokesman for the Kenyan police, said investigations have been launched and a major security operation is underway to apprehend the suspects.
Today, August 20th, 2024, morning hours, there was an incident of prisoners' escape that happened at Kikiri police station where we are as at now. 13 prisoners escaped from the cells, among them 12 Eritrean nationals who were arrested for being illegally in Kenya, and 1 male murder suspect, namely Collins Chumaisi Kalusha, who is connected with the Kware murder incident.
Changing topics, around 2,000 artists from 53 countries are participating in Argentina in the Buenos Aires Tango World Cup and Festival, which will last until the 27th of this month and will include more than 500 cultural activities. As part of the event, concerts, exhibitions, dance classes, slogans, screening, and record releases will take place in more than 40 venues throughout the city. More than 700 couples selected through competitions held in different parts of the world participate in the competition of great global relevance. The festival will close its doors on Sunday 25th at the Teatro Colón with a gala of the Buenos Aires Tango Orchestra. The finals of the Dance World Cup will take place 2 days later at the Movistar Arena Stadium. We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For Telesur English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.